History, where the world is being pulled apart by ethnic strife. It is the Jew and the Arab. It is the Russian versus the Ukrainian. It is the Greek versus the non-Greek. It is the white versus black, the American versus Mexican. Look at what our leaders are doing. I am sitting here in the studios in Las Colinas, Texas. James, can you leave the camera for a second? Can you come over here? Just so you can hear it. It's just been transported over from Ukraine. But you would mind just playing this a little bit? This is, behind me is a piano, slightly out of tune, because it was in a war zone.
Not as out of tune as you'd expect,
right? No. But it was a piano that was taken by the rebels in the Ukraine, and when they first started standing up saying, "No, we're Ukrainians. We don't want you to side with the Russians," they gathered and they brought this piano and they put it in the main square in the Ukraine. And there's pictures on Facebook, you can find them, of the people gathered around this piano at night. With the light of the fires in the town square.
And what were they doing? Were they singing Ukrainian songs?
Ukrainian songs.
Okay.
And
patriotic stuff.
Yeah, and they were standing for their country and their heritage. When they lost, this piano was put onto another truck and then onto an airplane and shipped over to our studios as a sign that people come together and stand for the things that they really believe in, and they are willing to give their life for it. If it revolves around freedom and the freedom to be who they are. Yesterday, thank you, James. Yesterday, I don't think you can hear me. Thank you. Yesterday, there was very nice, by the way. Yesterday,
probably the first time Coldplay has been performed on that particular piano.
The president gave a shocking speech when the Malaysian airliner was shot down, and he is supposedly going to make. He wants a make good speech to give here in just a little while, and we'll give you that as it happens. But I also want to compare and contrast to what Ronald Reagan said when an airliner was shot down, KAL 007. There's a really big difference between the leadership then and now. And we have the world has no leader. There is no leader of the free world right now, and that's why all of this stuff is happening. What we have are people who are trying to divide us. Barry Loudermilk, he is running for Georgia's 11th congressional district. Tuesday, he has a runoff versus the GOP establishment candidate, Bob Barr, which is remarkable. And Barry joins us now, and I wanted to start here. Barry, you actually taught American history in the Ukraine in 2003?
I did. I was invited by the Ukrainian Orthodox Church to come over and travel through. We were working with some orphanages and doing some humanitarian work through some Christian ministries, but they wanted me to teach American history because they knew that if they were going to continue down this path of freedom and liberty, they had to prepare the next generation to be dedicated to it. And it was incredible, but the most incredible thing that happened to me was after I was teaching on Thanksgiving Day in 2003 about American history, the founding of America. I was having dinner with some government officials, and one of them kept asking me more and more questions about the founding of America. And I finally asked him, I said, why are you so interested in American history? And Glenn, what he said changed my life because he said, we want to become what you were.
What you were.
What you were.
I have heard that from, I spoke to Mikhail Saakashvili. He is the president of Georgia, and we've had several conversations, and then I've spoken to the delegation of Georgia when I was over in Europe, and I met with several of them, and one of them said to me, would you please tell your people your administration is sending people over to try to tell us that we should be more like the former Soviet Union. We've already gone down this road. We don't want to go down it again. Please tell your administration and tell your people to stop sending us these people. You're killing us, and you're putting us back in chains. We are a country that doesn't even know our own history, and they do. They do know our history. Barry, when you saw the plane shot down yesterday, and I'm sure you saw what the president said, that, he learned about it on television and didn't really have any of the facts, it was really pretty shameful, and the papers all across the world are now mocking him for that speech. What should the president have said yesterday, or what should we be concerned with? Where should we be looking on this Ukrainian-Russia story?
Well, it's embarrassing when the American people know more about an incident than the leader of our own country. And he should have, before he even went on camera, he should have been fully briefed. He should have been interested in this event, because this is an act of international crime. I mean, when you look at the details and we're getting more details in these horrifying pictures, this has the potential to be an international catastrophe, especially with our ally Ukraine already fighting Russian forces that are insurgents operating within the border of Ukraine. I was embarrassed that was the response we had. But I out of concern, I contacted via Skype a friend of mine who is in Kiev. He's one of the nationalists there. He's very involved, and I just wanted to check on. When I was in Ukraine years ago, I was concerned because I saw people who had tasted freedom. And they were still getting used to this newfound freedom they have, but they were also struggling with the responsibility that goes along with independence, with liberty. And I was concerned, would they have the fortitude to stand up and fight for their liberty? He told me yesterday, he said, Barry, the people are going on like lives are normal, but let me tell you what they're doing. They're taking their vacation time to go volunteer with the National Defense battalions to defend their homeland. They're taking their vacation time, Glenn, to go defend their nation. We can't even get people to go to the polls, to take an hour off of lunch to go to the polls. We can learn from Ukraine going forward.
We are going down tomorrow with David Barton, Louis Gohmert, Ted Cruz, and we have raised $2 million to go bring relief to the children on the border. Yet all of us are absolutely dead set against amnesty. These kids have got to go home. It is the right thing to do, and we have to have justice. We have to have a government that actually enforces the law. Otherwise, we're creating the country that they're all running from. What should be done on the border with what's happening now? What should Congress be doing? If you were Congressman Loudermilk, what would you be saying today?
Well, the first thing I would do is get out of the way so individuals and organizations such as what you're doing could go down there and give assistance and show the Christian love and compassion we should be showing. These are children. It is not their fault that they're here. I would venture to say if you or I were in one of these other countries, we would do everything we could to get to America. But the fact is, it's poor policy. It's the wrong policy that has created an environment that is enticing these people to come. We should give care and assistance to those children while they're here. I would get Congress out of the way to allow private organizations, individuals to go give the aid and assistance that these people are going to that need, while we prepared to reunite them back with their families, back to the countries for which they came, and then make sure that we change these policies that are enticing the people to come, because they know when they get here, they're not going to go back home. They're going to be here. They're going to be able to stay here and clear violation of our laws. So there is a lot of change that has to happen. But the first step is let Congress get out of the way to let those who want to help do what you guys are doing.
Bob Barr said during a debate, he made one of the most outrageous claims about David Barton I think I've ever heard. Play the audio here if you can.
Will you tonight, you very proudly accepted the endorsement of one David Barton, who you described in a news release and a statement as the best, greatest constitutional historian in the country. And yet a man who has been roundly and uniformly criticized with facts for taking positions that are anti-Semitic, that are against women voting.
Anyway, so he asked if you will deny him. Later, after the debate, he said, on the day Israel is attacked, Barry Loudermilk refuses to denounce endorsement from anti-Israel, anti-Semitic radical David Barton.
Where the hell did he get that?
I have not a clue, but it is simply, you've seen it so many times, it's Washington-style politics that when you can't win on the issues, then you go into character assassination. He has attacked me. He's attacked my family. He's attacked my friends. He's attacked supporters. Recently, Glenn, he's accused me of being a racist. Just yesterday, I was with Alveda King, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s.
She's great. I love her.
And who said Barry's one of the most honorable men that I know, and stood right up and said everyone needs to.
And so why did Bob Barr say that you were a racist? I mean, I know you don't need to back that charge up anymore, but
no.
What was he charging?
He's losing by 20 points. That's why he said you're a racist.
Yeah. Obviously, the same thing he was doing with David Barton. He had no evidence to back any of it, I'm sure.
That's it, and he's using the race card because on the issues he's been on both sides of the issue, so he don't want to talk about the issue. So let's go into character assassination. Let's try to destroy the character of the opponent, and that way no one will believe him when he tells the truth. But fortunately it hasn't worked. The people are wising up, and we're in a very conservative district.
I will tell you, this is what we thought with Thad Cochran, and you saw what the GOP did with Thad Cochran.
Despicable.
Is there anybody watching what the GOP is doing to make sure that they're not stealing and really acting in illegal ways to take this election from the people of Georgia?
Not that we have directly seen, but we are watching it very closely. I think some of the things that Bob has done are so over the top that they don't even want to touch this one. But we're watching it closely, and we're focused on driving the vote out. We have teams out knocking on doors. We've knocked over almost 20,000 doors in the district, touched 40,000 voters face to face, made phone calls. If you're going to represent the people, you need to know the people. And when we started this thing, we were told, Barry, when you've run for office before, you've canvassed neighborhoods. Well, you don't do that running for Congress. And I said, well, this candidate does, because I believe in we the people, and that we the people are what it's going to take this nation back.
Barry, I'm sitting here, with this piano from the Ukraine behind me, and on my desk, a Hamas rocket that was fired at Surat when I was there. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
Surat. When I was there, and we now have Israel defending itself, and of course the media and everybody else coming to the defense of Gaza. And Palestinians, there are innocent Palestinians. Hamas is not part of anything that is anywhere near connected to innocent. Where do you stand on Israel?
We must support Israel. I mean, not only do we have a biblical mandate to do so, but it's in our own national security interest. I mean, Israel is our ally. And that region is very unstable, has always been unstable. But there are a lot of interests that we have over there. We have American citizens over there. We have national interests. There's a lot of resources. And just from a strategic standpoint, if we didn't have Israel there, you would see more and more American troops there because of our strategic national interest over there. So even just from a strategic standpoint, Israel is our ally. We should be supporting Israel. We must support Israel because, quite frankly, Israel has always been there for us. And we need to continue to stand by her, and that should be a top priority for this nation.
How can people support you, Barry? How can they, whether it's financially or...
This sounds like a setup question. Ask him for his...
Does it really?
That's what it sounds like to me, Pat.
That's weird.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering. I'm really curious because I'm sure that there's somebody who wants to help and either get out the vote with you or maybe make a donation. I just am curious about how that would happen.
Well, I was told years ago by a friend of mine who said, Barry, money doesn't win an election, but the lack of it will sure lose it for you. And, of course, financial contributions will help us in this last push. I mean, the election is Tuesday. We're doing a huge push on get out the vote. Voter turnout is what's going to make the difference. And people can go to our website, which is standwithbarry.com, standwithbarry.com, and make a contribution online there. If you have friends that live in Northwest Georgia in the 11th District, give them a call. Get them to the poll. Or if you live in this area, this Saturday at 8:30, you can go to our website, get the information. But this Saturday at 8:30, we're having a big Super Saturday rally where we're going to go out and canvass neighborhoods all across the district just to get people to the polls.
You're lucky the president changed his name back, or I would not be going to standwithbarry.com.
Barry Loudermilk, the Tea Party candidate, the Freedom Works candidate, and he is running against the establishment GOP Bob Barr, and this is one he's
a bald-faced liar.
He is
bald-faced liar.
But Barry is 20 points ahead in an internet poll, or an internal polling, and that all goes away if you don't show up.
Yeah.
That all goes away, and you've seen what the GOP did with Cochran. So
Chris McDaniel was up 8 in the polling.
Don't let this happen again. Please go out and vote. And if you want to get involved or find out more, standwithbarry.com. Thank you very much, Barry Loudermilk. Best of luck to you.
Thank you so much. Keep up the fight.
You bet.